Welcome back to the Artefactors Union. I am your foreman, Douglas Scoundrels, and today we are building the Ten Thunders box Dark Dealings. Let me adjust the old camera and show the whole thing. Got five models in this box. Mr. Tannen, Mr. Graves, and 3 depleted. We're seeing 2 depleted here, but here's the artwork for them. Totally upstanding gentlemen, and some... drugs are bad, folks. The render, Mr. Graves, big boy, Mr. Tannen, suspicious boy, and the depleted need some cake. Alright, let's start with Mr. Graves. Here's our sprue for Mr. Graves. You're gonna notice a theme with this box that is relatively easy, and we have a unique feature, optional arms. Sorry, these are the 2 optional arms. For a small period of time, Weird just kind of thought that they might include optional bits with models. They didn't do it for very long, but here's an example of, I think, early 2nd edition or late 1st edition models that we're still getting on sprue. So, we're going to start with the body, throw the head on there, do the right arm and the left arm. We're going to be using the fence post because that is the weapon on his card. So, if you don't like the fence post, use this arm over here. There's our body. Next, we'll add the head. Here we are with the head attached, and no, you are not missing any bits. He does not come with a neck. Here is our right arm. You should be able to figure out how it attaches to the body. Wait. Shit. Right arm points down, left arm also points down. He found a stick on the ground, and now he's going to use it. Here we are with Mr. Graves. This model was literally 4 pieces. No difficulty thing whatsoever. No difficulty thing. Who says that?
You, apparently.
Okay, fair. Moving on to Mr. Tannen, who is also 4 pieces, which is weird. We've got a body and a significant lack of butt, despite being a Malifaux model. No excuse for the company. This is just poor form. Then we've got a head, we've got a right arm, which is doing a fun little coin flipping trick thingy, and then the left arm is our choice of either a card or a knife. The card says that he has a lucky knife, so we're going to go with the knife arm. We've got a goofy little bean body. Let's give him a head. Give him a goofy little goblin head. The neck has to kind of like snap into place. It doesn't just sit on top. It takes just a tiny bit of fiddling. Here's the right arm doing a little coin flippy finger thing. Both arm connection points are completely flat, so I guess this is technically posable. Here's our left arm with the chosen knife. Keep in mind this is going behind him, or at least that's how they probably intended you to do it. I'm pretty sure, as I said before, you can just have him, I don't know, stabbing himself in the gut if you put it the other way, but this is the pose that we're trying to copy off the back of the box. Now we're done with Mr. Tannen. Also really simple. Slightly more difficult than Mr. Graves just because the arms don't really have solid connection points. But I guess that's also positive if you want to give him like weird, wacky, flailing arms. But we are done with this goblin of a man, and we'll move on to the poor, tentacly drug addicts. Here are our depleted. We are going to start with the guy in the middle because that's what the instructions label depleted number 1, and then we'll go with the kneeling lady as depleted number 2, and then Mr. My legs have turned into tentacles, oh my god, please help me, as number 3. We have one more option, folks. Starting with depleted number 1, you can give him this boring, basic right arm, which no one likes, or you can give him tentacles, which we're going to do, because 1, the render on the back of the box is tentacles, and 2, tentacles are far superior. I don't know anyone that would choose a normal human arm if they could have tentacles instead. Also give him a head. Here we've got a body, kind of. Let's give him a head. The connection point on these two, on the head bit, is pretty small, so you gotta hold it on there for a pretty long time before the plastic cement holds, but as long as you don't have any gaps, let's see, consider yourself good. Let's give him some tentacles. Okay, for identification's sake, the head that we put on him was right here. Just because the sprues are slightly mixed up, I figured I'd double check and make sure that you understand that that's where the head was, and these 2 bits are the tentacles that form the arm. They connect. as you can see on the back here. So let's connect them first. There we have it, one combined tentacle arm. Let's slap it on the body. There we are, with the arm attached, and our fine gentleman does not appear pleased that he has tentacles for an arm, which is just not a winning mindset, honestly. We are done with Depleted number 1. We are going to call him Gunther. The most difficult part is probably actually trimming all the really thin, fragile bits more than anything else. Be careful with those. Moving on to Depleted 2. Here are all the bits for Depleted number 2. We're going to start with the body, put the head on, then the right arm, and lastly we'll do the right foot and the left foot. Okay, we've got a body. Here with the head added, just make sure there's no gaps. Call it good. Let's do ourselves a right arm. Right arm was kind of difficult to get to set in correctly, honestly. It took me quite a bit of fiddling, and I'm still not entirely sure if that's correct. I'll just do a little bit more touching up. But just get to a spot you like, and then let it cure, please. Don't mess with it like I keep doing. Turning the model around, we can see 2 holes for the feet. One that's bigger and one that's smaller. If you look at our feet, you can see that this peg is bigger, which will be the left foot, and this peg is smaller, which will be the right foot. Here's the left foot. It's supposed to be putting the toes in the ground. Let's do the right. Now the right foot, which honestly looks kind of messed up. You gotta push it and squish it in there pretty hard to get it to, go all the way in. But we're done. Depleted number 2. We're gonna call her Octavia. Yeah, the hardest part was the right arm. You can still see it's a bit messed up on for mine. I would actually suggest gluing them to the base, like right away. I guess that'd make it really hard to do the right foot. And do the feet first, then glue them to the base, and then do the right arm so you can have it like set on top of the base. And then it won't move so much and you won't get the gross kind of gap thing that I have there. Anyways, moving on to the third one. Here's our Depleted number 3. We're going to go ahead and grab the body, put the extra tentacles on it, then the head, then the right arm, and the left arm. Easy peasy. We got a body. Alright, the tentacles will go on the backside here. Takes a bit of pressure to squeeze it in there, but it's a nice fit. Let's turn them around and give them a head. Head is now attached. It's severely cocked to the side, as you can see. And again, just make sure there's no real good seams. I'll have to squish them in there just a little bit better to close up that seam. But let's give him a left arm. I think that needs to go on first. Alright, now it's going to be slightly more complicated than that. We are going to attach the left arm right here, and it's not going to attach up here on the upper arm, though, because apparently the right arm is holding on to that upper arm. That's what you see, the thing in his hand. So we will attach the left arm, make sure that the cement is not dry, and attach the right arm quickly and just sort of wiggle them into place. Here it is attached in roughly the correct position. You do need to keep this sort of nub on the left arm because that will attach to the right arm. Kind of see right there. Yeah, so that little groove will attach on that nub, and then as you can see here, it's holding on to the upper left arm. So let's get it on there. There we go. Okay, that was pretty tough. I think I did a pretty good job lining stuff up. I'm not entirely sure if that nub on the left arm was actually supposed to connect in that hole in the right arm or not, because it sort of looks like it's really the wrist. But pretty sure that nub is still supposed to be there. It's in the render on the instructions, so just lots and lots of wiggling. You'll eventually get it to set in a good way. Let's show them off. Alright, starting off by himself, Mr. Tentastic is done. We're going to call him Otto. The hardest part obviously being the crossed arms, getting them to line up correctly. Not the easiest thing to build, but it ended up working out really well, and it only took a little bit of fiddling, not a ton. But let's show off the entire box, why don't we? Okay, the gang is all here. Mr. Graves, Mr. Tannen, Depleted 1, Depleted 2, and Depleted 3. The hardest part was probably the crossed arms on Depleted 3 and the right arm on Depleted 2. That right arm just messed with me a whole bunch. It's not necessarily going to be a problem for you. The problem is almost definitely going to be the crossed arms on Depleted 3, but after watching the video, you should be doing a lot better of a job than you would by yourself. So, enjoy assembling your models. I am your foreman, signing off.